Okay, so today we're in class. We are doing a lab. It's a variation of the Beer's Law lab that we did last time. Okay, and this one, the goal is, the title is the percent copper in a modern penny. And so we want to find out, what is the percent copper in a modern penny? We're going to use a spectrophotometer and apply it to Beer's Law, which is just like we did in the last one. Okay? Now pennies used to be pure copper, but they're not anymore. And so there's just a fraction of the penny is copper. We want to figure out what is that percent by mass. Okay? So in the first experiment, in the Beer's Law experiment, you had to make your 0.1 molar standard solution. I'm using the leftovers from that lab, and so you're going to have 0.1 molar CuSO4. You're going to need to make, they're making dilutions, okay, 10 milliliter samples of a certain number of dilutions. They get to choose and pick how many that they are actually doing. I'll send you a picture of the actual data table once the lab is complete. Okay, so they're going to make the dilutions done. Anytime we do a dilution, we know that it's the molarity of the concentrated times the volume of the concentrate equals molarity of the dilute times the volume of the dilute. Well, the molarity of the concentrated is always going to be 0.1 because that's what we're starting with. The volume of the dilute is always going to be 10 milliliters. That's how much we're going to make. Okay? The molarity of the dilute is what each person is going to decide. What molarity do we want our different solutions to be, so we can graph it and then figure out our straight line equation, and then from that figure out the unknown. Okay? So now let's go look and see what's happening in the lab. So now they are working on doing their dilutions. We have two burettes, one filled with water, one filled with the 0.1 molar copper sulfate. Okay? And so how many different solutions have you guys chosen to make?
4.
4. What concentrations?
0.1 molar, 0.06, 0.04, and 0.02.
Okay? And so then they're going to then use the burettes and mix those, and then test the absorbance of each of those in the spectrophotometer. And then also, what did we do here? Has anybody diluted your penny yet? You're working on this. Okay? So, I dissolved a penny into nitric acid like we did at the very beginning of the year. Okay? And they then took that solution and poured it into this 250 milliliter volumetric flask. They're now filling it up to where the bottom of the meniscus is on the top of the line, so we know we have exactly 250 milliliters of our solution. Okay? This is our unknown. Okay? When we do our calculations and look at the graph, that's going to give us the molarity of our solution. And now if we know the volume, that gives us all the information we need to be able to calculate the mass percent. I will send a picture of data in addition to this video once the lab is complete. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.